Hello viewers and welcome to another Warhammer 40,000 Conquest video production. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today I'm glad to present you with a reading of the 5th installment of our Planetfall cycle narrative, The Crusaders Arrive. This is the story insert included within the war pack Wrath of the Crusaders, and it's the 5th of a series of short stories which together compose a background narrative for Conquest LCG. So be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of the 5th chapter of our ongoing story, and please share your initial assessment and first impressions of our overarching plot. But with our premise aside, I hope you enjoy The Crusaders Arrive. The curse was accompanied by the deafening crack of Commissar Broderick War's bolt pistol. War quickly shielded his face from the spray of ceramite debris, bone fragments, and blood as the chest of the Khorne berserker who stood before him exploded from the inside out. With a downward swing of his heavy power maul, the Commissar caved in the helmet of the Chaos Space Marine, finally ending its frenzied thrashing. Taking stock of the battlefield around him, War found himself amidst a scene of devastation. The walls of St. Camilla's shrine were smoking ruins, the debris from their collapse forming rough channels and pathways across the battlefield. The dead covered every inch of the ground. Stalwart guardsmen lay dying amongst the bodies of crimson-armored giants, felled by the concentrated weight of Imperial firepower. Beyond the killing field, dozens of blood-soaked berserkers were sprinting toward the Astra Militarum position, feral screams of rage and hate erupting from the Vox grills in their crested helms. Hellish demon engines skittered and loped alongside the Chaos Space Marines, while greasy black smoke poured from their blood-fueled furnaces. The Commissar turned to the men and women under his command. They had suffered losses as the first waves broke upon the walls, but when the hell-forged Scorpion construct detonated at the base of the bulwark, it obliterated the defenses and caught hundreds of soldiers in the blast. Now, the enemy was rushing across the field towards the remaining defenders, a countless tide of bloodthirsty killers in powered armor against less than 80 grim-faced men and women of the Astra Militarum. If they were to sell their lives for the Imperium, they would not sell them cheap. Raising his power maul high into the air, its power field crackling with blue-white lightning, the Commissar called over the din of the battlefield. "Warriors of the Imperium, sons and daughters of the Emperor, the enemy is at our door and it lies open. All that stands between the works of the Emperor and destruction are we few. Hold fast and make safe this shrine." He was answered with a chorus of battle cries, salutes, and shouted prayers, and as he lowered his power maul to point the heavy head at the oncoming ranks of the enemy, the roar of weapons erupted behind him. The sizzling hiss of lasgun fire, booming thud of autocannons, sharp cracks of las cannons, and the dripping roar of plasma rifles washed over and past him, drowning the furious cries of the oncoming hordes of chaos. War leveled his bolt pistol and placed a shot into the dome of a Khorne berserker's helmet, tossing the charging lunatic backward and sending him sprawling down a pile of scree. Before the Chaos Space Marine had skidded to a halt, a deafening crack split the air, and where the berserker had fallen, a burst of coruscating energy struck. Amidst the rushing tide of Chaos Space Marines, bolts of lightning flashed, throwing a dozen of the howling warriors bodily into the air, their armor smoking and scorched. With another sharp crack of displaced air, the electric flash vanished, leaving only an after-image burned into Broderick's eyes. As the dust settled from the blast, the hiss and whirs of heavy mechanical pistons could be heard as a squad of 10 figures marched forward, enshrouded in ebony Terminator armor. Standing as one, their white tabards billowing about them, the sword brethren of the Black Templars Space Marines hefted their crackling thunder hammers and the broad slabs of their storm shields. They surged into action with a sudden ferocity, pushing back the tide of Khorne berserkers. The Black Templars ran shoulder to shoulder, their shields forming 2 impenetrable walls, clearing a corridor through the enemy ranks that led straight to the Astra Militarum battle line. A hulking figure in midnight black armor strode down the corridor, the red lenses of his skull-shaped helmet studying the Imperial defenses and settling on the Commissar. In a voice that echoed from the Vox unit of his helmet, the chaplain addressed War.
Commissar, is the crypt yet secure? Do the saints' bones remain undisturbed?
They do, Brother Chaplain. No corruption has yet breached our defenses. With the aid of you and your battle brothers, we might yet turn this horde back. Sparing the Commissar a brief glance, the chaplain stepped past him, the enormous weight of his tactical dreadnought armor shaking the very ground.
This shrine is lost. We do not come to preserve it. We come for the saints' remains. They are of greater import than the sum of all our lives. You and your men are to hold this position for as long as you can. You do your regiment and the Imperium a great honor, soldier.
The Terminators maneuvered behind the defensive line of the Astra Militarum soldiers, marching inexorably toward the gates of the shrine. Those left in their wake had no time for pause, no time to stare in stunned silence as they passed, for the forces of chaos descended upon them in an instant. Commissar Broderick War felt no despair, felt no remorse for the men and women who served under him. Their duty was clear, and it would be performed with honor. So, there you are. That was the Crusaders Arrive, the 5th chapter in the overall Planetfall cycle narrative. What did you think about the story, and what do you think about our overall plot thus far? Also, what would you like to see done with future narrative elements for Conquest LCG? Be sure to let me know in the comments, but as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. Feel free to share this video so that you expose more people to Conquest LCG. If you'd ever like to get in touch with me, feel free to reach out. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, and if at any point you have any modicum of inclination towards supporting the Hive Tyrant in my endeavor to continue to always cover Conquest, then I would be absolutely honored and humbled were you to make a small monthly contribution to my Patreon. But, as always, thank you so much for watching, thank you for listening, and be sure to check back in again soon for ever more living card game content to come.